Chapter 1: The Crime. It was a dark and stormy night in the city of London. Raskolnikov, a young man struggling to make ends meet, was feeling desperate and alone. He had been struggling with feelings of resentment and frustration, and he was desperate to find a way out of his difficult situation. As he walked the streets, he began to feel an increasing sense of anger and resentment towards the wealthy and powerful people who seemed to have everything while he had nothing. As these thoughts consumed him, he found himself drawn to a jewelry store on a busy street corner. Without really thinking, Raskolnikov pushed his way into the store, brandishing a knife and demanding money from the terrified shopkeeper. As he fled the scene with a small stash of cash, he knew that he had just committed a terrible crime. But in that moment, Raskolnikov didn't care. He was consumed by his own desperation and anger, and he felt that the world owed him something. As he ran through the rain-soaked streets, he knew that he would have to pay a price for his actions, but he was too consumed by his own feelings to think about the consequences of what he had done. Chapter 2: The Punishment. Raskolnikov knew that it was only a matter of time before he was caught. Despite his attempts to lay low and avoid detection, he was eventually tracked down by the police and arrested for his crime. As he stood trial in a crowded courtroom, Raskolnikov struggled to come to terms with what he had done. He knew that he had committed a terrible crime, and he was filled with remorse and guilt for the pain that he had caused. But despite his remorse, Raskolnikov knew that he would have to face the consequences of his actions. As the judge pronounced his sentence, Raskolnikov knew that he would be spending many years in prison, paying for the crime that he had committed. As he was led away in handcuffs, Raskolnikov couldn't help but wonder what his future held. He knew that he would have to work hard to atone for his actions, and that he would have to find a way to make peace with the world and with himself. Chapter 3: The Redemption. As the years passed, Raskolnikov began to feel a sense of purpose and direction in his life. He worked hard to redeem himself for his past mistakes, and he dedicated himself to helping others who were struggling with similar issues. Through his work in prison, Raskolnikov found a sense of meaning and purpose that he had never known before. He began to see that his actions had consequences, and that he had the power to make a difference in the world. And as he began to understand the true value of empathy and compassion, Raskolnikov began to heal the wounds of his past. He learned to forgive himself and to let go of the anger and resentment that had driven him to commit his crime. Eventually, after many years of hard work and reflection, Raskolnikov was released from prison. And as he stepped out into the world, he felt a sense of hope and possibility that he had never known before.